Hello, vape fans. Ever wondered what vaping does to your body? Is it good or bad, and how bad is it really? We're here to spill the tea and break it down for you. No fancy words, just the facts. Picture this. We're checking out real human lungs, getting into the nitty-gritty of how vaping affects your breathing. Plus, we're not stopping there. We'll show you how vaping can mess with other important body parts you might not know about. Is vaping a health party or a health hazard? Stick around as we compare it to old-school smoking. Let's unravel the mystery behind the clouds. In the exploration of the impact of vaping and cigarette smoke on our bodies, it all comes down to understanding the routes these substances take as we breathe in what seems like ordinary oxygen. Imagine a sagittal cut through the head, offering a view of the nose and mouth, the entry points for air. Whether we breathe through the nose or mouth, the air takes different paths that ultimately lead to the same destination, the pharynx, commonly known as the throat. The journey continues through the pharynx, presenting a crucial decision point. There's a fork in the road where the air must choose between the posterior tube, known as the esophagus or the food tube, and the anterior tube, the trachea. Contrary to the esophagus, which is the route for food, we learned that the air or vapor takes the path of the trachea. The trachea stays open. This design, with cartilaginous rings ensuring its constant openness, aligns with the fact that we breathe all the time. In contrast, the esophagus, responsible for food intake, can collapse between meals without any concern. Our journey concludes at the trachea, prompting a transition to a different exploration focusing on the lower airways. Specifically, we'll study the right lung, offering further insights into the respiratory system. It's like deciphering the intricate story of how our body processes air and vapor. Now, the trachea, which is like a tube, carries the air down. But when we reach the bottom, there's a decision to make. It's like a fork in the road. Imagine this is just the right side, and the air can choose to go left to the left lung or right to the right lung. As it makes this decision, it branches out into what we call bronchi. These are like smaller tubes that lead into the lung tissue. So think of it as a tree with branches. The main trunk is the trachea, and as we go down, it splits into two left and right. These splits are like the main branches. And as we go further into the lungs, these branches keep dividing into smaller ones like the twigs of a tree. We call these smaller branches bronchioles. The main idea here is that the air, after going through the trachea, chooses a path into either the left or right lung through the bronchi, and these bronchi continue to split into smaller tubes as they go deeper into the lung tissue. As the bronchi continue branching out, they become smaller and are now called bronchioles. Picture these as narrower tubes leading deeper into the lungs. But here's where things get fascinating. These bronchioles lead into structures called alveolar sacs, which are made up of individual alveoli. Think of them as tiny air sacs, like bubbles within your lungs. Now, why are these so crucial? Well, the alveolar sacs and alveoli are incredibly thin tissues. In fact, they're the thinnest in the entire respiratory system, just one cell thick. This ultra-thin structure is key because it's where the magic happens, where oxygen from the air we breathe gets into our bloodstream, and carbon dioxide, a waste product, moves out of the blood and into the air we exhale. This exchange of gases between the air in our lungs and our bloodstream occurs in these tiny alveoli. And because they're so delicate and thin, they're particularly vulnerable. When we talk about the effects of vaping, these alveolar sacs and alveoli are often the most affected. Vaping, which initially began with e-cigarettes designed to mimic traditional cigarettes, has undergone significant technological transformations. In the present, vaping devices are often larger, rechargeable, and equipped with cartridges containing a liquid. This liquid undergoes heating by passing through an atomizer, turning it into vapor, hence the term vaping. However, the question arises, is inhaling this vapor harmful to the human body? The answer is yes, it can indeed pose risks. The transition from traditional cigarettes to these modern vaping devices has brought forth concerns regarding their potential negative impacts on health. So, what problems does vaping cause? The intricate process of turning the liquid into vapor involves the heating of substances that may have adverse effects when inhaled. The specific composition of the liquid, which often includes nicotine, flavorings, and other chemicals, contributes to the potential health risks associated with vaping. The concerns primarily revolve around the impact of these substances on the respiratory system, given the direct interaction with the delicate tissues of the lungs during inhalation. Hospitals have observed a rise in cases of acute lung injuries linked to vaping in recent years, a condition now known as e-cigarette or vaping product use, associated lung injury, EVALI. Patients with symptoms akin to pneumonia were found not to have an infectious cause, leading to suspicions about the potential harm caused by vaping. The symptoms included fever, chills, a general feeling of unwellness, as well as respiratory issues like cough, shortness of breath, chest pain, and, in severe cases, hemoptysis or coughing up blood, suggesting an impact on lung tissue due to inhaled substances. Interestingly, up to 80% of EVALI patients exhibited gastrointestinal, GI, or digestive system-related symptoms, indicating systemic effects. Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and abdominal pain were among the reported GI symptoms. This dual impact on the lungs and GI tract highlighted the complexity of the health issues associated with vaping. Determining the specific substances causing EVALI poses a significant challenge due to the lack of regulations in the vaping industry. Manufacturers employ varying ingredients, making it challenging to pinpoint a consistent cause for the observed health concerns. Various ingredients found in vaping substances have raised concerns, shedding light on potential health risks associated with these products. Among the common components are nicotine, recognized for its addictive properties, and humectants like propylene glycol and glycerol, which aid in moisturizing the liquid within the cartridge. Furthermore, tetrahydrocannabinol, CBD oils, vitamin E acetate, and a vast array of over 7,000 flavors have been identified in vaping products. Trace amounts of metals such as tin, nickel, chromium, manganese, and even arsenic have also been detected. This diverse mix of ingredients shows the complex composition of vaping liquids. The impact of these substances has become particularly evident in hospitals, where an increasing number of patients present with symptoms resembling pneumonia after vaping. Doctors have often observed rapid heart rate and breathing and low oxygen saturation in these cases. Diagnostic imaging, including chest X-rays or CT scans, reveals lung infiltrates or opacities, contributing to the initial impression of pneumonia. However, investigations into these cases have shown that bacterial or viral causes are absent. To delve deeper into the root cause, clinicians have employed a procedure involving the insertion of a fiber optic camera into the respiratory passageways, down to the bronchial tree. This allows for the inspection of lung tissue and bronchioles. During this process, saline, a saltwater mixture, is injected into the terminal airways, specifically the bronchioles and alveoli. The subsequent extraction and analysis of the fluid obtained from this lavage provide crucial insights into the substances present and potential harm caused by vaping. There were no sickness-causing germs found, but many patients with EVALI had vitamin E acetate and THC, the psychoactive compound in cannabis responsible for the high. The revelation about the association of vitamin E acetate and THC with EVALI raises critical questions about the safety of vaping. Typically, vitamin E is harmless when used in lotions or ingested. However, the mode of processing changes when it enters the respiratory system. The oily, thickening nature of vitamin E acetate, coating the respiratory passages and lung tissue, could potentially trigger inflammation or interact with cells in a harmful manner. The exact mechanism remains unclear, necessitating further research. Concerning the outcomes for EVALI patients, until February 2020, 2,807 individuals were hospitalized, with 68 deaths reported, representing about 2.4%. Notably, this percentage pertains to those with EVALI, not all individuals who vape. The majority of patients recover, often undergoing supportive therapy, including antibiotics initially until infectious causes are ruled out. The long-term effects of EVALI remain unknown. Comparatively, the medical consensus suggests that while both smoking and vaping pose risks, smoking is generally considered more detrimental due to substantial data on its long-term effects. For those who have never smoked or do not intend to, the recommendation is to avoid vaping, especially products containing vitamin E acetate and THC. The increasing prevalence of vaping among younger populations raises concerns, with evidence indicating a potential gateway to cigarette smoking. What do you think? Tell us down in the comments section. Be sure to subscribe and activate the notifications bell. Thank you for watching.